And it's just basketball. It's just basketball.
Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Welcome back, my people. I hope you all are well out there, except if you are a LeBron James fanboy, then I really don't care how you're doing. So everyone knows about the back and forth that's been taking place between Kenyon Martin and Draymond Green. And this was kind of sparked off by the fact that Kenyon Martin said Draymond Green was a fake tough guy. And of course, Draymond Green responded by not addressing whether he was a tough guy or not, thus proving Kenyon Martin's point. But Draymond Green responded by talking about his accolades and saying Kenyon Martin is not a winner and such and such. And Kenyon Martin responded with a list of players who he thought was better than Draymond Green, which I tend to agree. But a lot of people have been weighing in on this back and forth, and I came across this clip with Paul Pierce and Danny Green discussing this very topic. And Paul Pierce basically says that, hey, in any other era, Draymond Green is just an average defender, which we all know. Again, Draymond Green is not very self-aware and doesn't understand that Draymond, you only receive the recognition that you receive because you happen to be on the perfect team for your particular skill set. Draymond Green, you end up on any other team, no one is talking about you. And so, without further ado, my people, let's check out this clip with Paul Pierce, and we will be right back.
Draymond is the greatest defender of this new era of the type of basketball.
Sure.
Because of the switching, because he can go all five positions. I don't think you can put Draymond defensively in any other era to where he'll be an all-defensive player. But when he has to switch on to Shaq, Alonzo, Dikembe, KG. Well, that switch, you're gonna have to do a show. That's why people show. That's why people trap. Now, when you can switch on non-post presence players now, it's easier to defend. But when you have to switch on the dude, we're gonna go to this every time down on this switch. Every time down, we're going to the dream Shaq on this switch with him.
Okay, to say that Draymond Green would have trouble guarding Hall of Famers doesn't mean that he's not one of the best defenders that's ever played in the having a hard time with Shaq. Who didn't have a hard time with Shaq?
Ben Wallace did well with Shaq.
Tim Duncan, Ben Wallace, you name them, KG. Shaq gave all of those guys hell.
The switches were different then. You couldn't switch because when you switch, we're going to this the next 10 times. We're not, okay, we got Dirk and Draymond on him in the post. We're going to this the next, I don't care if he missed the two in a row, we're going to keep going to this.
So Draymond, you saying Draymond would be what are you saying? Like he'd be just an average defender? Yo, you guys are insane, bro.
Listen, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna take it back a little.
Paul Pierce, facts. Draymond would indeed be just an average defender in other eras. So I want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, this notion of today's players being versatile defenders, Draymond Green being one of them. Fans of Draymond Green love to talk about how Draymond Green can guard positions 1 through 5. Much like that people who are fans of the Duck, the Deer, the leader of the 4 and 6 Kingdom, the guy who hadn't made a defensive team since his Miami years, they love to talk about how he can guard 1 through 5 as well. Well, I got a question for people who believe this. When every position plays the same way in the modern NBA, what does that even mean? When the center plays like the guard, and the guard plays like the shooting guard, and the shooting guard plays like the small forward and power forward, when everyone plays the exact same way, what does it even mean to say someone could guard 1 through 5? Because everyone is playing the same way. It actually means nothing. Everyone technically guards 1 through 5 in the modern NBA because everyone plays the same way. There is no distinction in roles and positions and what you might have to encounter by guarding another position. I mean, I like Wemby, but I'll tell you what, it drives me out of my mind seeing Wemby at the top of the three-point line, pulling up for threes, you know, and that kind of thing, basically playing like a guard. It drives me out of my mind every time I see that. I'm thinking like, dude, you're about the tallest person in the NBA, and you're not using it to the utmost advantage. But anyway, yeah, so like I said, this whole guarding 1 through 5 in the modern NBA means absolutely nothing when all positions play the exact same way. Now, the other thing, with this whole Draymond going, if Draymond was put in past eras, again, he would indeed, I don't even know what would be his use in past eras, to be honest. But I've been saying this for a while now, because they have changed the game so dramatically, I feel like they need to kind of draw a line in the sand with this era. Like, this era needs to be classified as something different. Like, it almost doesn't, you know, you almost can't even really rank guys against previous eras because they have changed the game so much that it's not really the same game of basketball that it used to be. And because of that, again, to me, it's like comparing these soft players who do nothing but chuck threes, who do nothing but drive and kick, comparing them to the days where you actually had to be tough to be a basketball player. Comparing them to those previous players is just completely ridiculous to me. It makes absolutely no sense. Comparing today's modern game that, again, is threes and driving and kicking, everybody switches all the time, to previous eras where there was actually serious strategy involved in the game, it makes no sense to compare those. So when you're talking about Draymond Green having to guard Kenyon Martin, or having to guard Kevin Garnett or Rasheed Wallace, or some of those people who were really much tougher than what Draymond Green has had to deal with, I mean, it's not even a comparison. And so again, anybody with reason has to agree with Kenyon Martin. Anybody with reason has to agree that, yes, indeed, Draymond Green, you have gotten the label of tough guy. And, you know, I don't call what Draymond does tough. I call it, Draymond Green is simply being a bully, again, because he's only tough, like Kenyon Martin said, with those he knows he can get away with it. And so, yeah, shout out to Paul Pierce for saying what it really was, because you heard I can't think of the other guy on the panel. One of them was Danny Green. But the other guy on the panel vehemently disagreed with Paul Pierce and this notion that Draymond Green would be just an average player in the previous generations. But here's the thing. We're going to wrap this video up. This is a short video. But here's the thing. People have this notion that time makes all things better, that evolution is inevitable, that things are simply going to get better with time. This is not the truth. This is not the truth. Yes, some things will get better, but there will come a point where where things plateau. There will come a point where things actually regress. And a lot of with sports, again, first of all, you have to take into consideration human beings have a limitation on how fast they will ever be without alternate means of getting fast. Shout out to the duck. Human beings have limitations to how far the body can be pushed. So again, when you're talking about sports, because there are limitations on human beings' physicality, period, there's only so fast people are going to get. There's only so high people are going to be able to jump. Now, then you got to take into the other component. In a system where there are rules set up, again, there are limitations within the rules. So when they talk about people being more skilled in all this, the only thing that has happened is that they have allowed the rules. One could argue that they've disregarded the rules so that these players can get away with doing things that players of the past could never get away with. The walking and the traveling and the carrying. And then the other thing you have to take in consideration is who is leading the charge. Again, this is the first era. The LeBron James era is the first era of basketball where basketball has actually regressed. And it has regressed because of the leadership. It has regressed because of who has been the face of the league and what that person represented. So LeBron James was not the face of competition. Because up until LeBron James, previous faces of the league has been the face of the fiercest competitors. Whether you're talking about Bird and Magic, even when you were talking about the rivalries between Bird and Dr. J, but Bird and Magic, and of course Michael Jordan, of course Kobe, and guys like that, faces of the league have been the fiercest competitors. And LeBron James has been the first face of the league that I can remember that has not been the fiercest competitor, that has been has done everything that has destroyed the competition in the league, including forming super teams, including having tons of excuses, including declaring himself the greatest. LeBron James has destroyed the competition of the league. So again, this notion that things automatically get better with time, that is false. Sometimes things plateau, sometimes things regress. There are many factors that determine that. But what we can say for sure is that this era, the LeBron James era, like I said, to me, it needs to be classified in its own way. It doesn't need to be compared to previous eras because it has not followed the standards. It have not measured up. They've spent the LeBron James era figuring out how to make the game easier and easier. And so, yes, I completely agree with Paul Pierce. And it's not just Draymond. A lot of these players that get a lot of hype would not survive in previous eras. First and foremost, they're just not tough enough mentally to deal with it. Again, we're living in an entitlement era. We're living in where everybody think they deserve everything for doing the minimum. And that's not gonna cut it in the previous eras. I'm sorry, LeBron James fanboys and Draymond Green fanboys. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna cut it. But anyway, we gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think of what Paul Pierce had to say? That, hey, Draymond would be just an average defender in previous eras. Do you agree with Paul Pierce, or do you think Paul Pierce is wrong? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.